Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Judith is here. Hi, Judith. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys had a chance to watch the episode tonight. Jaylia, hi. Aunt Sandy, hi. Hey, Judith. Here. What is up, everybody? Hope you guys watched the episode.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hi.
Hi.
How are y'all?
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I bet.
I I know, and I feel like we have a conversation that we need to have, but it's not gonna happen right now. But I feel like there's a conversation that we're gonna have to have.
All right. Well, I had to get creative because I forgot my thingamajigger at the house. So, yeah.
Oh, no, I when I leave home without my thingamajigger.
Right? I can't live without my thingamajiggers. So,
I carry a spare.
so episode 9, we're 9 episodes in before the 90 days. This episode started off really, really intense. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, but it's still heartbreaking, the whole story. It was really serious because you know me, I'm never serious. I don't know how to take anything seriously. So this was a lot for me. And the fact that it was so avoidable. But I remember we had commented on those stairs because at each time David went up and down those stairs, he lost his footing. And we just knew, you know, like those stairs are not safe. So the fact that she lost her mom due to that situation, it's just mind blowing. It's heartbreaking. It's so sad. I felt for her in that moment, and the fact that she had to be strong in that moment. You know, she had to be there. She had to stay with her mom for the 24 hours. She had to do the ceremony, the parade. She had to be strong, and I was just like, I don't know if I will be able to be that strong. You know.
That episode had me wrecked because I've recently lost both of my parents. So, yeah, I was a disaster for the first, I don't know. And then they talk about Dempsey and Dempsey losing her sister. I was just like, holy shit, what is happening in this episode?
I know. It was so intense. I was like, this is the realest that the seasons have gotten in a while. And it's hard to watch us see real world things because we like to watch it, we like to laugh, we like to be entertained. But these are real people going through real world situations. They can lose people. They can go through things that aren't entertaining, that aren't funny, that aren't, you know, entertainment at all. This is just their lives, and to watch how it affects them just like it affects everyone else. I hope people will learn. Stop being so overly critical of the people on your TV. They are real people. They go through real problems. They have real feelings and emotion. And just seeing her break down was just so hard for me. And then she was even trying, you know, to still be there for David in that moment. Because I was like, in that moment, David I would have told him to go home. You know, like, I can't deal with anything extra right now. I have enough going on. I would have told him to just go home and come back at another time. But the fact that she was still thinking of him, she's like, well, I'm going to take him back to the hotel. I'm going to drop him. She's still thinking about other people on top of it. Really showed, you know, her character. She's just a good person.
Yeah. For sure. And I also respected David, how he said, you know, I don't want to overstep. I don't want to be a burden on her. I mean, that was good. It was a lot.
Yeah, and giving her space as well, you know, trying to let her grieve her mom like she needs to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, it's hard to let people be alone when they're grieving. Because I know a lot of times people are like, oh, I want to be there. I want to make sure they're okay. Sometimes giving people a little bit of space helps them get through the grieving process. Because sometimes when you just have people kind of constantly hounding you and constantly calling you, constantly texting you, showing up at your door, baking you casseroles, you know, it can put a fork in the process of you just being there with your feelings. And I think a lot of people say you have to let out a really good cry. And I'm 100% behind that. I believe that 100%. When something terrible happens, sometimes it's good to just sit there and just cry and just be in that moment and understand that this is how you feel. Don't ever neglect how you feel. If you feel like crying, let that out.
Yeah. I've been there, man. I've been there with people knocking on my door with casseroles and cards and all the things. And, you know, it's hard because when you lose a parent, I mean, all of our parents, you know, are supposed to go before us. That's just the way nature intended it. But it's so freaking hard. My mom was my best friend in the whole wide world. And I I wanted certain people around me, but I also wanted my space. And when I wanted my space, it was like a complete meltdown. And I just needed that. So I have respect for both of them so much. I think they're handling it the best they can.
You're right. You're right. And like you said, you know that it's inevitable. We're human. You know that it's going to happen. But there's absolutely no way for you to prepare or to be ready when it happens. Because people will say that.
With my mom, I knew she was sick. I knew she was dying. I moved in with her to take care of her. I knew it. I got the last 359 days with her, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was so blessed to have that. But even at that, when it happened, I still wasn't prepared. Even though I thought I was not. So for her mom to just suddenly pass, so unexpected, that has got to just hit like a wrecking ball.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is ever ready to lose a parent. So I don't care if you know that, you know, they're sick, or, you know, still when it comes to that day, you're still not ready. I don't care
It's like
how long.
I heard someone say it's like it hits you like a bag of bricks.
Yeah.
Even when, you know, you knew it could happen, it's still that moment when it happens, you're still in a shock and disbelief that it even happened, because we're only human. We've never fathomed loss. Even in all the years that we've existed, no one has ever actually mastered grieving and getting over loss. Still to this day, we can't understand it fully. It's just something that we deal with, but we have no idea how to process it and handle it. In the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, if you want to go back, we don't know how to properly get over that. We never do. Till the day that you leave this earth, you are grieving the people that you lost. And if anybody tells you any different, they are lying about their feelings. You never get over that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you don't.
So I'm hoping to see David and Sheila in some future episodes. And I'm proud of him too, like you said, for being there for her, but also giving her space. So I'm hoping to see this is a growth in their relationship, and they're going to be stronger for this, because when things start going wrong and you can be there for each other and you can show the love that you have for each other, that's how you know that the relationship is going to work. And he was there. He didn't know what to do, but he was just there. And I think that's all that you really need from someone. They don't have to know how to handle the situation. They don't have to know everything, all the right things to say. Just show that you're there and you want to help and you want to console the person. And I think that's all it took. And I think that she's always going to remember that.
Yep, absolutely.
So I want to talk about Violet, because we saw this episode with Violet and Riley. And apparently Riley blocked Violet first because he got a message.
Because he filed.
Yes, he got a message from her, which he refused to read because he knew she was calling him out for what he did. He didn't want to hear it. So instead of reading the message, he blocks her. And then he goes and he talks to a friend who's like, you're actually in the wrong. But I mean, they're both in the wrong, but I do agree that Riley is in the wrong. You know, he definitely talked to her pretty badly. And I felt like
that wasn't even his friend. That was a freaking tour guide. He
well,
hired somebody, his friend.
That's true. That's true. He doesn't have anyone. Somebody said on Twitter, they were like, how do you block the only person you know in the whole country? Yeah. Like, so who are you going to communicate with now? He blocks her. Then he realizes, he's like, well, I do want to apologize. And he wants her to apologize. She wants him to apologize. And I kind of feel like they're going to be at a crossroads because they're both very difficult to convince that they're wrong. So I definitely feel like between her lies and his masculinity and their egos, you know, I just feel like they're always going to clash because he just always thinks he's right and he has this ego. He just has this feeling that he's entitled to know all of the information about her. He's entitled to ask for the information any way he wants.
Yeah.
Because we can all agree that the way that he tried to get this information from Violet was wrong. The way that he stick Tiffany on her like a dog, this was wrong. There's a right way and a wrong way of going about it. Is Violet wrong for not being forthcoming with her past? Absolutely. They're both wrong. That's why I think a lot of people are like, well, why could you be team Riley or why? I'm not team anybody. I think they're both wrong. I think that they both need to own up to their part. Because I think Riley kind of was talking about it tonight. He's like, I want to own up to my part I had in the situation and apologize for what I did. That's a step, okay? That's a step in the right direction.
He was told what to do. He didn't come to that conclusion on his own free will.
Oh, well, no.
Somebody else told him what to do. So,
oh, no.
Do it.
He would never come to the conclusion that he did anything wrong. No. That is always going to come from an outside source. That's how Riley is as a person. Like, he's always right up until, because even Tiffany, when he told Tiffany what he was doing and when he was going over there, he was right. And then she's like, you're crazy. Why would you do that? You don't even know if she's married or not. He has to get his negative information about himself from other people because in his mind, he's just always right. And I feel like Violet is kind of the same way. She's never going to give any information or say that she did anything wrong because she said if he wants to reconcile and he wants to make things better, I'm open to that. Yeah. And he said the same thing. So they're both going to be at a crossroads because neither one of them are going to want to admit that they did anything wrong. So at this point, it's a good time to purchase that plane ticket and head back to Pennsylvania and just call it quits because he was too cheap to get the private investigator because none of this was necessary. If he just would have hired the guy that he had a consultation with, he would have had the answers to all of his questions.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, I think
say it, DeeDee.
I think they both need to they both need to do what do you call like a psychologist or something and sit down and like bash it out because he's set in his ways, she's set in her ways, and it's just going to keep blowing up every time they meet because she doesn't want to answer his questions. He doesn't want to answer her questions. So they're both acting childish.
Yep. Yeah, she was like not going to tell him why she was on the dating app because her husband would know. That's why.
Yeah, she keeps saying that she's divorced. Yeah. That won't, Violet's still with her man.
Yep.
Well, he still to this day has never seen where she lives. I mean, he's seen her mom's house. He doesn't know where she lives, where she has her stuff. Like, he doesn't know anything about her. And I mean, that's why I said I don't want to say that anybody is right here because he does have the right to know who he's been in a relationship for all these years with. Like, he does have the right to know that, but
left. He should have found all that out before he even left.
Exactly. And if a private investigator was on the table, there is no reason why he should be there. Like, if the only way to get information out of someone is through hiring someone else to find it for you because they won't tell you, don't even bother. You don't know this person.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's no point of you having to have someone interrogate someone or to look up information online because they just won't be honest with you. I just feel like it's a waste of time. And I think he realized that when he got there, that he wasted his time and his money.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's why he blew up on her because he realized this is a waste of my time and I'm going to look stupid on national TV. I feel like that's exactly what was going through his mind. That's when he got so angry and he told her, just go, get out of my face. I'm sick of it. Go. I feel like he realized at that moment, I'm wasting my time with someone who honestly isn't serious about me. They're not serious about me. They're not serious about this relationship. They're not serious about marrying me. They're not serious about anything.
Yep. It's
that's just one of them relationships that neither one of them are a good fit for each other.
Well, opposites are supposed to attract, so, but like you said, I don't think
they're not opposites. They're both liars. They're not opposites. They're both deceitful. They're both children. They're just a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. All right, so Jasmine wants another ring. Okay, so Jasmine said that she lost the first ring because it was ugly. Then she said she was wearing her ring from her ex-husband because it was a nicer ring. So there's a lot to unpack here, right? So she claims that she accidentally misplaced it. So she lost the ring on purpose. And then she took Gino to a jewelry store to buy her sister a gift for her birthday. And she was like, well, while we're here, we might as well look at rings because I don't have one and I should have one. And that's kind of where the immigration lawyer talk came up. Now, Gino is no stranger to K-1 visa situations. He brought over his first wife from, I believe he said Brazil, on a K-1 visa, and I think she's still in America to this day. So he definitely knows how the process works. And I don't think getting a lawyer can increase the speed of approval, right? I don't think that isn't, I think in Jasmine's mind, getting a lawyer would make the approval come faster, but I don't think that's the case. I think that the order of the paperwork and when it was received, that is just how it was received. However long it takes them to get to your paperwork and approve it or deny it, whether you have a lawyer or not is irrelevant. John and
Rachel are at 6 years and they have a lawyer. So
oh wow, 6 years.
Yeah, but they're gonna find out within the next 30 days. They'll have their answer. But still, they've had a lawyer all along.
Wow, I can't imagine.
So it doesn't
yeah, so she thinks that it's about money, and he just feels like it's irrelevant to have. Did we lose you, DeeDee? Are you still there?
She's spinning.
I think we might have lost her.
I think so.
So I think
freezing up too.
Am I?
Yeah, you're all pixelated.
Oh,
there's DeeDee.
Oh, okay. I think we're all back.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm in a whole different place.
The weather.
Yeah. So I think we're all back. I think we're all back, guys, right?
We're back.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this immigration lawyer situation, DeeDee? Because I feel like Jasmine wants him to spend money on a lawyer when he knows that he can do this process himself. And it kind of boils down to the fact that Jasmine always wants to be in control of the relationship and what he spends and what he does. And I think Gino is looking for a relationship where he's going to be in control. This is different, though. This is like a different version of Gino, because we remember Gino from before, where whatever Jasmine said went, and he was actually terrified to do anything differently. So I think that they're kind of having a power struggle in the relationship. I feel like Gino is kind of coming into his own, and he's being more of the man in the relationship, and Jasmine is trying to figure out where it came from. You know, in all these years, she never had to deal with him arguing with her. So I think that she's trying to grasp the idea of being in a relationship with someone who's not going to give her what she wants when she wants it. And I don't know if she's able to be in a relationship with someone who's not going to be submissive to her. I don't think that that's in her nature.
No, well, I think
bad behavior.
I think with the lawyer, it's just, honestly, if you can do the paperwork by yourself, you'd probably, it'd be a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot faster, because most of the lawyers, they don't even really do anything. They take their time. So wherever she's getting this, that if they have a lawyer, it'll take less time. She's got the wrong information from somewhere, because I've known people that's been trying to get their status for 10 plus years and nothing. Yep. So a lawyer has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I think the lawyer, you give them the paperwork and then they submit it on your behalf, which you could just do yourself. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And if there's like an issue, you need to appeal something, that's where the lawyer would come into play. But I highly doubt that would be an issue. Or do you think it is an issue because Gino has had a K-1 visa before?
Yeah.
So do you think that's going to pose an issue?
That's what I was wondering, is how many wives can you bring over? I mean, he's already got financial.
It could. I mean, it could possibly red flag him, because he's then brought one over one time, and now he's trying to bring someone else over. So
I wonder if that's why it's been such a delay in the application, because it maybe have gotten red flagged.
Yeah.
Because this would be his second K-1 visa with a completely different person. in, so many years. So I wonder if the issue is more so they want to make sure that this is a real relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what's taking longer, because I think Jasmine thinks that he's just dragging his feet. Because you remember we used to wonder if he actually filed the paperwork?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wonder if he actually did file it. I really do believe he did.
Yeah.
Because when he was bringing up the prenuptial agreement paperwork and signing, I was like, there's no point of him going through that if he didn't even file the paperwork. Like, that's part of the process of bringing her over. So knowing that that was going to piss her off, there will be no reason to actually bring that up if he didn't file the paperwork. So now I'm going to wonder, oh, wait, did we lose you, Kara?
Nope. I'm trying.
Oh, okay.
Are we good?
No, we're looking at a chair or something.
We can't see you.
Hold on.
We struggling today, Kara.
Technical difficulties. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh my
All right.
God.
I had to make my best friend's wedding cake this week, and my whole iPad is covered in powdered sugar, and I was trying to clear it off.
Oh.
It's terrible.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Me and Kara are struggling today, guys. So
It's fine.
We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this.
We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
oh my gosh. But also too, the immigration since COVID, the immigration is like 2 to 3 years behind.
Yeah.
Because they closed down for like 2 years.
Yep.
So that could be a reason too.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what to think, because during COVID, we were watching the shows and there were still people getting their visas approved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I think that they were already married, so it was a spousal visa. I think the spousal process is faster, or is it not?
I don't know personally, other than John and Rachel. John and Rachel are married. They applied for their spousal visa, and again, they're 6 years out. This is the 6th year. They'll get their answer this year, supposed to be within the next 30 days, but 6 years. So
that can't be normal. I think the only other case I know like that is Angela and Michael, right?
Yeah.
Like, I only know if this is so rare, because I've seen it where people have gotten approved within 6 months, 3 months to 6 months. It's just so fast. It's almost instant. It doesn't seem fair to the people who've been waiting so much longer. So I don't know. I need to do more research on this process, but I just think that waiting, because we were watching Love in Paradise, and Anna and Matthew, it was going to be up to 2 years is what he said, I believe. So yeah, this backlog is really showing up in a lot of different cases from COVID. To close down the offices completely was just crazy.
yeah.
So the idea that COVID hit, and then all of these cases are backed up, and then there's these people who are already married who literally have children who can't see each other, who can't be together. It's insane. And the fact that the offices aren't doing anything to speed up the process, hiring people, doing digital processing, they're not doing anything to actually make it faster, which I think is crazy.
Yeah. That is right. John did have some charges against him, but they're not felony charges, but they're criminal charges. But still, they've still been waiting 6 years. COVID put them back. All kinds of things happen.
Well, can we talk about what Jasmine said? Not only wearing her ex-husband, the ring from her ex-husband, but how she was saying how she fakes the orgasms as well.
She said she was just joking, but I don't know who jokes like that.
But
no,
just joking right after she said, honest to God.
Yeah. I think that Jasmine is what's the word? She's not really trying to get this visa. Like, I feel like she's really letting it slip through. Like, I feel like she's letting her real feelings slip through every now and then. And I think that in order for her to get this process, get married, get her ring, get her non-prenup marriage, she's going to have to put a little filter on her mouth. And she just keeps saying whatever pops into her head. And I have that. I have diarrhea mouth too.
Yeah.
I sometimes say the first thing that pops in my head, and then afterward I realize I shouldn't have said that out loud. That stays in here. And I think that she has that that issue where she's just like, well, no, I fake that. Why would I be satisfied by you? I like my ex-husband. Like, she says these things, and then after the fact, she's like, oh, I was just kidding. I was just angry. That's just my reaction to you irritating me. It's like, eventually, when you keep saying things over and over, they're true, right? Like, if it was just you out of anger, but every time you're angry, you say the same thing, there's a little bit of truth to that. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I was just drunk. And then they say something crazy one time. Okay, you were drunk. But if every time you get drunk, you say the exact same thing to me every single time, I'm going to start to believe that you're telling the truth.
Yep. But I don't care who you are. I'm not going to say anything in front of my 20-year-old sister, no matter what.
Is that really her sister?
No, not at all.
I think that's her daughter.
That's her daughter.
Right? Okay. I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know this, but I just know for a fact that's probably her daughter. And the fact that they kept having really weird conversations in front of her. And I felt so bad for the girl, because I was like, it's her birthday. And every time they showed her face, she was just like ready to vomit from how disgusting these conversations kept turning. And I was like, I feel bad that she has to deal with that. And if that is really her mom, Jesus, that's even worse, right? To hear these conversations, that's even worse.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Well, I mean, let's go back to whenever they got the necklace for Liz. She wants to pick out another engagement ring.
Right.
Because she says she lost her other one. Then she says she didn't like it because it wasn't her style. It was cheap.
Yes.
That she wore her her ring that her ex-husband had got her because it was more her style. But then Gino said, well, how would you feel if I wore a necklace my ex bought me? Why is she getting mad? How is it that she can keep throwing?
She just
do what, Cara?
A necklace. You have a necklace. She bought you a necklace. He's hypothetically speaking, and she's losing her shit.
Yeah.
Like, how is it okay for her to keep talking about her ex-husband or Dane, and he can't even say anything, and she blows a socket?
Yeah, she's crazy.
It's I can do it and you can't. I was raised in the church, and there was so much of that. Like, everybody could do certain things, but I couldn't do it because it was against our religion. So it rings very true to me. So that double standard where I can do it because I'm me, but you can't do it because I told you can't do it. And I hate that. Yep. It's like this. It's crazy because it's like she did end up getting her ring, but he bought it from a street vendor. So I don't know. This is so on brand for Gino because you guys know until recently I didn't think he had very much money. So the fact that he bought her a promise ring from a street vendor knowing that he has millions of dollars is a little odd to me because she knows that he has this money and she wants to spend it and he's doing everything in his power to keep it. And I mean, that's how rich people get rich, right? But I feel like...
Talk about the promise that was made with the promise ring. I promise to work on giving you my meat more. What kind of a fool says that shit? Like,
in front of Liz, by the way. She was unfortunately present during this conversation, which was just, right? Like, I can't. I don't know what to say about these two. The fact that
levels of wrong. 50
yes.
Levels, gross.
The length of craziness.
I would have had to punch both of them in the face. Yep. Like, I really would have. I would have had to really punch them in the face.
DeeDee and her, he's swinging on them all.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, if I was Gino, I would have punched her in the face whenever they were standing getting the ring.
Yep.
Because, I mean, not the ring, but the necklace. And then she said that she didn't like the ring because it wasn't her style. Yeah. Then I would have punched her in the face again whenever she said that she wore the ring that her ex-husband got her. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
When she said she didn't have orgasms, and then I would have punched her.
Then I would have definitely punched her and pushed her off the bike when she said that.
Yes, and then ran her over.
This conversation is going much too violent. I think that we shouldn't be punching people in the face repeatedly. I think that this is turning much too violent than we should be going. I don't disagree though. Right, Sarah? Yeah, Gino and Jasmine are on our last nerve too,
Yep.
right? Because they're the two people that we know should not be together, but are fighting so hard to be together. They're like Angela and Michael, like the two last people in the whole world that should even be in communication with each other. But not only are they in communication with each other, but they're throwing it in our face.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to like deal with it like, oh my God, if you want to be toxic and dysfunctional, do it on your own time. We're like so over you, you know?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, I need a lawyer on standby for me. I stay ready all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to have bail money, a major credit card when you're hanging out with DeeDee because you just never know when she's gonna sucker punch somebody. She's just gonna sucker punch somebody in the throat.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you just have to be ready because you just have to say like, which precinct are you taking her so I can meet you there? So I can get her out. We're not even from here. You know, like, where are we going?
I can't ask which precinct she's going to be in because I'm going to be in the seat next to her. We're probably tough together. Like,
see, I can't take y'all anywhere. I can't take you anywhere. What am I going to do with you?
we'll be fine. As long as we're sellies,
You gotta have fun.
I mean, you can have fun without smacking people in the face, right?
But if they do stupid stuff, I mean, if they say stupid stuff and they do stupid stuff, then they need to get sucker punched.
Yeah. See? I agree.
So,
Thank you, Kara.
I got you.
all right. So Statler wakes up in England, London, I believe, and she's cold because the containers. Okay, so remember, I thought that it was like a trailer. They live in these little storage container conversions. So I got a little more info tonight. They probably mentioned that, but I missed it because I was reading into something else. So they live in these little containers, and in London it's really cold. They don't have central air or heat. So she wakes up and she's freezing, and Statler's like, cold is my hell. You know, like being cold is my hell. And I kind of related because I lived in Ohio for quite some time. Being cold is also my hell. I live in Florida now, and I'm not melting. Like, I'm hot, I'm okay, but being cold was too much. And she's beginning to realize that she's not okay with living on the farm that Dempsey has made her home in. Funny because she was never invited to be there, but now she's like, I don't know if I want to live here now. I'm like, you weren't invited. You're not even like welcome. She had you there for like a trip. You think you're moving in, then you get there, you decide you don't like it. Nobody even invited you to live there. She just wanted to see and meet you. And she's like trying to like set up shop in this girl's house.
In the same breath, she says, I don't want to live here. I'm not comfortable, but I hope I can convince Dempsey to let me move in with her. That's the biggest oxymoron.
Right? Like, what do you want from this girl? You don't agree with her style of living, so you want to move in with her?
Yeah.
You want to like impose on her? They barely have had like a normal conversation this whole trip because they're so awkward, and she's like a horny frat boy and she won't leave her alone. And now she's like, I hope we can get along long enough so I can move in. Y'all barely get along long enough to have dinner together. Like, I don't even understand where her mind is at. And then she's gonna actually accuse Dempsey of cheating on her when she was on that trip with her dad because they didn't have good communication. Okay, she said that she didn't have Wi-Fi when she was in, where were they? In Thailand, I believe. Yeah. They were in Thailand. She didn't have good Wi-Fi, so the communication is hard. When you're out of the country, your cell phone doesn't work. So you would need Wi-Fi and the WhatsApp to communicate with people. You need both. They're intertwined. You don't have one, you don't have the other. So she's like, oh, well, I assume that you met someone else and cheated. And she's like, I've never cheated on anyone in my life. Lo and behold, Statler has cheated before. She claims once. I call bullshit. I think that she's the type of person where she goes out and has a good time and wakes up in random people's bed. I don't know her, but I just feel like that's who Statler is. She goes out, she has some drinks, and the next morning she could wake up in any girl's bed. It's fair game. So, and I think that's where her guilty conscience is coming in, where she's like, well, I didn't talk to you for like once or twice a week, so you probably are dating someone else. Because that's the type of person she is. If she ghosts you, she's dating someone else. And I think that her saging Statler's coochie was the best part of the show, right? Like, I felt like, I'm not saying that anyone should ever be slut-shamed. That's not okay. But her saging her coochie was the best part of the show.
The best part was when it started smoking even more.
That's what I was
Because of
going to say. It started smoking like really
all
bad.
that
But
negative skank energy coming off that coochie, right? That was the best
Oh
part.
my God.
but do we think that millionaire Gino is watching this episode jealous that they live in a storage container and have a cutting board and a potato peeler
I mean,
that Statler doesn't know how to use?
yes, I think
Well,
he is,
her
because
trying to peel the carrots gave me the worst anxiety. Like, who doesn't know how to do that with a freaking potato peeler? Come on. She was just trying to get attention.
yeah. I think that this relationship is fun to watch, but I don't see it growing into anything serious, right?
No,
Like, I feel like,
it's horrible. I hope Dempsey finds her woman because she is freaking awesome. I love her.
I think the fact that Dempsey is bothered by Statler's, I think they call it body count now, like how many people that she's been with, I think it shows her level of like innocence.
Yeah.
You know, like she's very innocent. She's a good girl.
Yep.
And I think Statler is like a corruptive girl. Like she's going to try to corrupt her. And I don't think Dempsey's looking for that. I think she wants to just be with someone and grow with someone. Because Statler was like, I don't like that she, you know, is bothered by how many people I've been with. I think like I'm, what's the word? I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that that's a good trait, you know, and I feel like that disconnect where Dempsey looks at it as you being with so many different people is kind of a turnoff. And then Statler looking at it as, well, me being with so many different people, you know, is like, I'm holding this cool trophy.
Yeah.
You know, like I can get any girl I want. And I feel like that disconnect between the two of them, that shows that they're not on the same level.
It's more
looking for what they're looking for.
frat boy vibes all the way from Statler.
Oh, yeah. The fact that she thinks being with so many different women is just like a trophy. She's like, I'm proud of that. I think that's awesome. And it's like, nothing, and again, I don't slut shame. If you want to be with anyone, however many people, whatever, I don't care about that. But it's like when you're looking to settle down, you know, it's gonna come back and bite you in the ass. I think that happened with Scott from Love in Paradise, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with what was going on, but when you're coming to settle down, that those wild oats, they come back and bite you in the ass. And I think that's exactly what Statler's gonna have to deal with. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting to know yourself and experiencing those experiences, but just know you're going to have to answer to somebody in the future when you want to explain to that person you want to be with them forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that she's looking for a good time. Statler's only looking for a good time. I mean, I don't see it.
And a place to live. A good time.
Yeah.
And a place.
Because she said that her lease was about to be up. I mean, Dempsey doesn't even know that Statler wants to move in.
No.
And she's already making plans. And if it's that cold, we'll go to the store and buy a heated blanket. I mean, simple fix.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there has to be like a space heater or something in there, right? I know people that live in London, they said that they're pretty accustomed to the cold. Like a lot of people that I've met who live over there, the cold weather doesn't really bother them the way it does over here in America.
Yeah.
Like when winter hits, you know, even if you're from up north, it still bothers you. But like when you live in London, people are very accustomed to the bitter cold. So I think maybe Dempsey doesn't see the level of cold in the container as, wait, are those storage containers like insulated?
I think,
like, how does it?
But what had me is I don't understand why she doesn't have the bottom insulated, why there's no skirting on it. Because that would keep it, 20 degrees warmer.
Right.
So
that's
maybe
so
working on it, so maybe that's coming.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too, because do you remember when she took her to the common areas of the camp? There was like this really decent size what was it, like a recreation area?
Yeah.
It looked really complete, and I was like, well, maybe her container is gonna eventually look like that.
Yeah.
Because they're in constant work. Like when we were watching, like there was a lot of construction going on, there was constant work going on. I was like, maybe, because she said that she hadn't had it put into the plumbing yet, so it's clearly not done. So I was like, maybe the central heat, the central air, I don't think you need air over there, but the heat, that might be coming in the future or not. I don't know. Who knows? I don't
Well,
really know. Because
they must have something because Dempsey went out and cut the firewood. I mean, Statler could have at least offered to help.
oh no, she wasn't going to do that. I feel like because she was bothered by the fact that they were doing construction and they live on a work site. Because she was like, they're doing construction, and I was like, she lives on a work site. She's literally at work where she lives, and she's like, I don't know if I like the noise. I'm like, nobody invited you to live here. Like, you can't complain. That's like saying, like, you go to a party uninvited, and then when you get to the party, you complain that you don't like the party. You weren't invited.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even be there. Like, if you don't like it, just leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
But,
And how awkward was it whenever Dipsy's friend gave her a hug? She was like really cold, like she didn't want to hug him. That was awkward.
Did you feel like Statler had like a negative feeling about Ben? Like, I don't know, like she kind of felt like she was, I don't know, I got like an intimidation feeling from Ben. She didn't like how long they hugged. Because when Dempsey and Ben were hugging, Statler had this really weird look on her face. Like, why are you hugging her?
This season is so full of jealousy. I mean, all seasons are, but this one's like extreme. There's so much jealousy.
I know. And hello, Dempsey's a lesbian, Ben's a guy.
Yeah.
Right? What are you jealous of? Like, I'm trying to understand. Because she was looking at him like she was intimidated by their relationship. I was like, he doesn't have the anatomy that she's looking for. Yeah. So if they're friends, that's clearly what they are, because she has made it very clear to you and in bed with you what she likes. He can't offer that. So why exactly are you bothered by their friendship? I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh yeah, Pricks, that was the topic on Twitter. Everyone on Twitter was saying that they were looking for Ben's Instagram. Because everyone was like, where can we get a hold of Ben? And I was like, see, I don't think Ben has any problem getting people, especially pretty young women, to work at his container conversion company. Because all the women on Twitter were like, can we get his ad? Can we find out, is he single? What's going on with this guy? They were like, who cares about Statler? Everybody was trying to figure out what was going on with Ben. And I was like, maybe that's why Statler's jealous. But again, Ben's a guy. Ben's not interested. She's not interested. This jealousy is just out of control. Like, everybody on this season, like you said, is just hella jealous. It's almost like that's one of the requirements for the shows now. You have to be uncontrollably, unreasonably jealous. And that's like the only way that they'll put you and cast you on at this point, because we've been dealing with so much just unnecessary jealousy. Right? Like, how can you be jealous of a straight man who is friends with your girlfriend who's not interested in men? You know, like, there's no reason. There's no threat whatsoever. She doesn't want that at all.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah. So I did want to say, I did want to talk about Dempsey's sister. It was so hard for her to get through. She actually moved out of her house after it happened, because she couldn't even be in the same place where it happened. That is so heartbreaking to lose someone. And there was 3 sisters, and they were all very, very close. And they had to be close too, because their family through the generations are part of the traveling carnival, the setup and takedown crew. So they literally have to be close, because you're always in a different place. You only have each other. So I can't even imagine, like, this episode really showcased a lot of loss, and it really makes you humble and thankful, you know, for what you have in your life, is watching these people going through these horrible, horrible losses and still having to just continue on in life, you know, and keep pressing. It's really hard. And I'm just happy to see her thriving and doing so well. And it's like you could tell in her eyes that pain was still there, that grief was still there, even though it's been years, probably a decade. It's still there. She's never going to be able to process that grief. And that's just something, as humans, we have to learn to live with. We can't process, we can't fix, we just have to learn to live with that void.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's another thing Statler doesn't understand about her relationship with Ben. She essentially said, you know, he was the shining light when I was in the darkest place of my life, and gave me safety. And I think that that's something that, you know, that's a bond that will never be broken. I don't give a shit who comes in. and Statler, you know, is just gonna have to learn to deal with it if she's gonna be in the picture.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
to be honest, the way Statler was acting, I think Statler is, I think she likes both. Because if you're straight, you know, if you're straight lesbian and your girlfriend likes or friends with a man and you get upset because they hug each other because you like men too.
Yeah.
You doing something that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Really?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I think she likes all of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She just gives me that kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, why else would you be suspicious if you know that your partner is gay, just gay, and that's that, and then they're with somebody of the opposite sex? There's no reason to be jealous unless you're not gay.
well, TJ Thompson says it could be an ego thing. You think it's because the ego thing is like where you just don't want to be, you don't want anyone to be friends with the person because you want to be that main person. It could be, I don't know. I mean, it could be. I feel like Statler is probably the type of person that doesn't discriminate. I feel like she's a very sexually adventurous person. So I don't know her. I'm not saying that she isn't straight lesbian or whatever, but like she definitely seems like this person that is sexually adventurous and open to different things.
Yeah.
Like when she tells her sexual stories, it's very open. It's there's not a lot of restriction when it comes to what she does. So you could be onto something there. Maybe she sees him as someone that she would be attracted to, and she feels like, well, if I would be attracted to him, Dempsey would be attracted to him. And again, that guilty conscience, because, you know, she's cheated in the past. She's done things that she's probably not proud of in relationships. And that guilty conscience starts to come in. Well, what if they were doing that to me? Because you've done it to other people. And, you know, karma, she waits in the bushes. She waits until you're happy. And then right then and there, boom, she is ready to get back at you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. I think she likes both, to be honest with you. I don't think she's like gay. I think she's just open to whatever she can get, I think.
I agree.
So Cleo and Christian were back this week, and I think Cleo said it best at the episode. She was like, things have been great and terrible, right? I think she said something along the lines of that, like things have been going well and then awful at the same time, because he's very good at leading her on. Like he makes it seem like everything is good. They're having a good time. He planned the little VR game to play together. They bond. They have serious conversations. He took her out, bought her this this bracelet, you know, said this is something that you can always remember that I got you. And then when they get home and they're ready to be intimate, he completely shuts down and acts like he wants nothing to do with her. And I feel like that is the most mind game playing with people's emotional thing that you can do, because he makes it seem like even in public, they'll kiss, they'll hold hands, they'll show all the signs of they're in a relationship and they're a couple. And then when they get home and it's time for them to be intimate, he wants to get in the bed and turn the opposite direction like she's not there and be like, good night.
Yeah.
What the actual hell? Either you're okay with the fact that she's trans or you're not. Yeah. And you're never going to know if you're okay with it if you refuse to touch her, right?
I agree. But, you know, he made the comment that he likes the girl to make the first move, and she made the comment that she likes the guy to make the first move, and all of that. And then at the end, it shows him literally reaching over her and kissing her cheek, and she's all, okay, good night. Like, he just told you he doesn't like rejection. You should have flipped over right then and there, and shit would have went down.
See, that right there is when I would have punched him in the face.
See, we're bringing back the punching talk now. I do think that he is playing mind games. Like the way that he leads her on, he says the right things. Like they had that conversation, they planned that night at home because he knew that going out was hard. Okay, so they did have a conversation about what he did on their first date. where he shifted all of the attention to the ladies at the table behind them. And he tried to say that, you know, I didn't even want to talk to them or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, but the fact that we're trying to get to know each other, the fact that you know I'm autistic and I can't really interact with that many people at once, it's a processing thing for me. And the fact that you knew that and still did that still made me feel uncomfortable. That was not something that made me feel like you're going to understand, you know, how my mind works and the things that I like and the things that will make me happy. And I think that she's 100% right. I feel like he's over there to have a good time and try something new, and he's getting cold feet. Like, he's like, well, I thought I wanted to try something new, but now that I'm here, I'm not 100% sure I want to do it, which is fine. Say that, though. Like, don't play with her emotions and her mind. He's like buying her gifts. He's holding her hand. He's kissing her. He's taking her out. He's doing things with her. He's planning a nice night at home. And then when it's time to do a normal thing that people do in a relationship and when they're dating, he completely shuts down. And I'm just, it's almost like emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like he's taking her emotions and he's like abusing her emotions. He's like making her feel like she's not good enough. He's making her feel like she did something wrong. And she didn't do anything wrong. She was 100% honest with him before he got on the plane. So I just hate the fact that he won't be real and honest and just tell her how he really feels. It's like the longer he stays there, the worse it's getting.
But, you know, he keeps making these little comments that just piss me off. I can't stand this guy. I mean, I would have let DeeDee punch him in the face already. But he keeps making these little comments like he can change the fact that she's autistic, or he can change, you know, how she's going to feel. If you just try it, it might be different. Like, it's not different. She knows how she feels. You're not autistic, so you don't understand. Do your research. Just do your research. Stop being a dick.
Yeah.
I can't
Change
stand
it. He does say that. He tries to make it seem like, oh, well, you don't like these things because you don't feel comfortable doing them. The process is autistic. People who suffer from autism, it's not a level of comfort.
Yeah.
It's not, though, that's not how it feels, because you can say, I'm not comfortable. Like DeeDee, you would say, I'm not comfortable getting on an airplane. That's a level of comfort for you and your nerves. But when it comes to someone who is autistic, it's not that they don't feel comfortable around groups of people. It gets to the point where they literally will have a panic attack and just literally have to remove themselves from the situation. They can't function in that.
Yeah.
And I feel like he doesn't fully understand what autism is, right? Like, I feel like he just, because he's like, oh, well, you think you don't like it, but we can try it. You know, like with Misha and Nicola. She's like, you think you don't like dancing, but you do. He did, but he's not autistic, okay? Like, right. She knows what she likes, but she also knows what her body and mind can tolerate.
Yep.
Those are two different things. She might love dancing, love singing, love doing things, but her mind and body can't tolerate doing it. She can't control the way she feels in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, she handles herself pretty well, you know, to be autistic. I mean, hands down, she really does. And she's trying to make, well, let me rephrase what I'm trying to say. She's trying to say that she is willing to make him feel more comfortable, to put her emotions aside just for him to feel comfortable, but he's not giving her the same respect.
Yeah.
And she should not feel like that she's doing something wrong when she's not. He's the one that is screwing up left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to compromise anything. I feel like she's compromised enough, and she was honest with him, because she asked him before he got there. She's like, are you ready to go through the process of being with a trans person? Because even though it has nothing to do with you being in a relationship with me, there will be negative comments, there will be people's opinions, there will be things that you'll have to deal with. She knows, she's dealt with him her whole life, the whole time, but he doesn't know that. And she even tried to warn him and give him situations and examples of how things will change when they're seen together. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm good. Oh yeah, it's fine. No big deal. I'm just happy to meet you. I think it'll be fine. That won't bother me at all. And then he gets there and he's acting like it doesn't bother him, because in public they go out, they hold hands, they kiss, they do things together. It's behind closed doors where he starts acting like a weirdo, right? And it's like, I hate the fact that she feels rejected, you know, because it's like, she's like, well, what did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? Am I not what he wants? When the whole time he said everything was fine.
Yeah. It's a mess. It's a mess. He needs to go home and leave her alone.
Yeah.
She's way too good for him, right? Like, she's way too good for
Way
him.
too good.
Like, he has a ego, right? Because she's like, oh, you're out of my league. And he's like, thanks. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's like, no, you
guys
read that whole wrong.
Fucking game, dude.
Right, like, he is not out of your league. Like,
No.
you were dating below your class at this point. Like, at this point, you were just settling. Like, Cleo can do so much better. She has put herself out there, which a lot of people have so much trouble doing. She's put herself out there as a trans woman. She's put herself out there as an autistic person, right? And she's putting her everything out there, her whole self. And she can do so much better. There is somebody who will treat her so much better, respect her, respect what she's going through, not require her to compromise with him. Like, why should an autistic person compromise with you so they can go out and be in a crowded bar? Why?
Well, you know, I was thinking about one thing is she's doing a phenomenal job, because being autistic and having so many sensory overloads and stuff, not only is she having to deal with all of that shit, but she's got all these camera people following her around in tight spaces in her home and all of that. And she's handling it well.
Yeah, she sure is.
Yeah.
And she's putting her feelings and emotions to the side to please him.
Yeah.
And that's not right. That's not okay.
What? For what? Please him for what? Like, I am so done with him, and it's like, I want her to kick his ass out. You know, like, just go back home. You can either do right or go home at this point. Like, there's no point of him being there wasting her time. And we saw in the preview for next week, she was crying, which we knew was going to happen. We knew that he was going to do something stupid and hurt her. We saw that right from the beginning, right? We knew, like, this guy's going to hurt her. He's going to take her honesty, her loyalty, her love, and he's going to shit all over. We knew exactly what he was going to do. And right on brand, he did something, because we're going to find out soon enough what exactly he did. And hopefully she rejects him, okay? Like, rejects him and just get him out of her life for good. And I hated that she was like, what was I thinking? I feel so stupid. I don't like when people blame themselves. When you date a person who turns out to be an a-hole, that's not your fault. Okay, like, they were an a-hole before you met them, and they're going to be an a-hole after. They just hid that they were an a-hole long enough to get you to bring your guard down. Don't ever blame yourself for that.
Yeah.
And did y'all catch when he said that when he was pouring the wine, that that was the time he usually put on the music, the baby making music? Like, that is such a disrespect. Like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
But even being, he shuts that down anyway. Because I was like, why would you even say that? Because every time anything would supposedly happen between the two of you, you shut it down anyway. That's part of his leading her on game that I'm so over at this point. Like, stop with the BS.
Yep, it's awful. I'm so done with him. He needs
Well,
to go.
maybe he'll go back home. Well, aren't we supposed to be getting another couple?
Well, we're in episode 9.
Tomorrow on the new
The
other way.
Okay.
On the
right.
other way.
I'm sorry.
This is.
I know we're getting a new couple on one of them.
This is it for this episode, for this season. So Misha and Nicola weren't on this episode. Tyree and Carmela / Christian weren't on this episode, and Amanda and Razvan weren't on this episode. So when we don't get people, we don't get like a bunch of people. So
wait till next week to see Tyree meet with Cleo, or not Cleo, Carmela.
Well, I don't know if I'm more excited about that or Amanda and Razvan's best friend.
Yeah.
She's got.
I kind of was excited about the interrogation there, because finally someone is calling Amanda out for exactly who Amanda is, and we've been waiting for this all season. And I loved the way Amanda's reaction was to being called out. She was so pissed, and I was like, don't get mad. Don't get mad when people are telling the truth. You only get mad when people are lying. I don't see anything wrong coming out of her mouth. This is all true.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Nicola and Misha were spotted in Mall of America, Minnesota. I don't know if you guys saw that. This was like last week, right? Yeah, last week. I'm not surprised, but I wanted to get your reaction that they're still together. How do you feel?
I'm very surprised.
Yeah,
Really?
me
Yeah.
too. Yeah, because he's a prick.
He's a yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
know the saying, women typically like a bad boy slash prick.
He's not
So
a bad boy. He's just an asshole. You don't see him out there on a Harley beating the shit out of somebody at a bar. He ain't no bad boy. He's just a prick.
yeah,
He's just an asshole.
I'm not surprised. Like honestly though, I think that Misha is in love with him because of his religion.
Yeah.
Not be and because of his faith. I don't want to say religion, because
but
of his faith.
he's fake. He's too fake. Like, I don't care. I mean, I'm not knocking nobody's religion, so don't come after me, guys. What I'm about to say, okay?
He'll punch
But
you.
but he's fake
Yep.
because he's always talking about how, Jesus did that, Jesus does this, or we do this, or we do that. But 5 minutes later, he's in the bar dancing, he's drinking beer, like, come on. And then he's judging her for everything. And then he's like, well, in the Bible it says you can't do this, in the Bible it says you can't do that. Come on. Seriously, he's fake.
He is.
Fake.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very typical behavior for religious people. And I just want to say this, I was raised in church. Like I'm not like calling anybody's religion out. This is exactly how it's through like personal experience. Like it's always they can do it, but I can't. That's how I was raised my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I saw people doing the exact things I was told that I would go to hell for. So I definitely feel like his behavior is very typical. But the fact that she brought him over here and they're still together doesn't surprise me. I don't know. When I saw the picture, I was just like, I can see that, because the way that he showed his true colors back in his home country and she was still there, still dealing with him, the fact that she was a secret to everyone and she didn't walk away then, I was like, I'm not surprised. I feel like she's in it for the long haul and they're eventually going to get divorced. But I wasn't surprised that she kept going.
I'm shocked by it, honestly.
I have no comment.
I mean, I don't think they're going to stay together. I feel like it's never going to work. It's never going to work in the long haul. But I do feel like she wanted someone with a deep religious faith. And I feel like she's in love with the idea of having someone with a deep religious faith. Yeah. And I kind of feel like deep down, she wants someone to keep her in line. And I know that sounds really weird, but I feel like she felt like she wasn't in the church her whole life and she kind of wants someone to keep her on the straight and narrow. So it doesn't surprise me that she picked him to do that.
I'm not buying either one of their BS, to be honest with you. I'm not buying it.
I think she's a great lady. I think she's just stuck with what she's stuck with now.
Yeah. I don't know. They both fake to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that they're real. I'm just saying that it's a shit show.
Well, yeah. It's gonna be a rocky. I mean, the fact that they made over here and got me, it's gonna be rocky, and I think that it won't work. But I feel like she's gonna try to make it work. Like she's one of those people that are gonna hold on to a relationship after it's dead.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she's gonna hold on to it and try to make it work when all signs point to flatline. Like she's gonna try to keep it going as long as possible. I feel like that's the type of person because in their religion you can't get divorced, and if you do get divorced, you need the permission of the church to get remarried. So I feel like she's gonna try to make this work because she already got permission to do it again. So I feel like a third time will probably be off the table. So she's gotta try to make this work, right?
Yeah. That's very true.
Well, Chris says that he might be a sex god. So that I'm gonna say probably not. Because in order for that to be true, he would have to have more practice beyond the age of, well, before the age of 46.
Yes.
Right? Like, I feel like no one is amazing at something they just started doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I never started a job, and like within 15 minutes of doing it, I was the best person there. Right? Like, you're never really, really good at something that you just started doing. It takes time and practice. Something that, well, Nicola has a lot of time, but no practice. So I guarantee you that is not what is keeping this relationship going. I mean, maybe now that he's had some time, but I think Misha's been around and she's probably had better. Like, she would be Jasmine. Like, I've had better. You know, I feel like she's had better.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They said that he looks like he could become abusive. I do get Andre vibes.
Yeah.
Like from Libby and Andre, from Nicola. I agree with that. I get Andre vibes. And we don't know that he's abusive, you know, in any way other than verbal. We don't know. What the things that Andre says, I feel like Nicola would say that too.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, someone says they think that Nicola has been sleeping with women this whole time. Do you think that?
I don't think there's any woman dumb enough other than Misha.
Right? That's what I said. I was like, I don't think that anybody would make that mistake, right? Like, if they've gotten to know him well enough, I don't see that. Like, I don't see it at all.
I don't know, because we still got to watch the episode where he tells Misha that he knows exactly what women want. So if he's a so-called virgin, which we all know is a lie, how does he know how does he know what a woman wants?
Pornhub.
Wait, that's not even what women actually want, though. Like, that's, hey, Judy.
That's where he's learning his thoughts.
Well, if that's the case, he thinks that women want a pizza delivered by a guy who's eventually going to come into the house. Let's not get, you know what? This is going down.
Broken pipes.
This is going down a road that we shouldn't be going down. You know what? I just caught it. This is going down a whole different road.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're 9 episodes in, and do you know what night the new show, The Couples Therapy, comes on? Is it Monday?
August 14th.
Because
is
that going to come on after the show is over, or is that going to come on after The Other Way? I was curious.
It is actually, it's a Monday. So it's going to have to come after The Other Way.
Okay, so after The Other Way. Okay, got it. So we'll probably have 3 shows going at once. So we'll have Before the 90 Days, The Other Way, and Couples Therapy. So wait, not Couples Therapy, Last Resort. Why do I want to call it Couples Therapy? That's
so we're going to have 4 going at one time.
Because we
right?
all need afterwards.
Wait,
4.
which one? What? 4? What's the 4th
The
one?
one tonight, the Last Resort, after the Other Way, and then wait a minute. I'm thinking, never mind. You're right. Y'all, I'm sleepy. Just forget about me. 3,
Well,
sorry.
Match Me Abroad, I think the finale is tonight. So technically they're Match Me Abroad, but that's going to be over tonight, and I don't think that there's a tell-all for that. So I don't know if you guys are watching Match Me Abroad. I have been watching it. Harold is my favorite. Like, I'm so excited for Harold. Like, he's doing so well. And you guys know I love Mark, too. Mark is my brother. So.
Yeah.
But if you guys weren't watching Match Me Abroad, it's a good spinoff. It's for people who want to get married and they want to find. It's crazy because they go over there for like 2 weeks, and they want to find the person they want to marry in like that 2-week period, and they've never met these people before. So it's a good show. If you haven't been watching it, make sure that you are. Okay, so yeah, there's no tell-all. Oh, someone says that they love Stanika. I'm gonna let Mark comment on that one.
I'm gonna let DeeDee punch her in the face.
I know how Mark feels about Sneaka, so. But yeah, so we're gonna come back tomorrow and talk about The Other Way. Brandon and what's her name? Mary.
Mary.
That's what everybody is waiting for. So we're gonna see some more Brandon and Mary. Oh, and next week, Ty Ray is going to be meeting with Carmela / Christian / somebody. You know, who knows at this point. And he claims that he's meeting with Carmela, the real Carmela. is what he said in the preview. So isn't that what he said? He was like, I just
That's what he said, but why is he having to fly if she lives like right down the road?
Right, she lives in Bakersfield, but he was getting on a plane. So I'm really interested more so in just seeing who walks in the bar, because it's clearly not Carmella. I think that this girl. If you guys follow Shabuti on Twitter, he found the actual Carmella's Twitter.
Oh.
And she was posting or whatever, and she doesn't know Tyree. That's from the gist of what I got from the tweet that I saw. She doesn't know who Tyree is. So whoever shows up to this meeting, I don't know who's going to show up. I don't think it's going to be her. I think that if anything, it's going to be Christian, or it might not even be Christian. Maybe Christian took all the money he wanted to get, and then it's a different person who's been catfishing. Like, because this could be like, it's been 4 years, so like there could be like a whole operation at this point. Like there could be like a whole team of people who have been in on this. So who knows?
Yeah.
Next week is gonna be pretty good. So
yeah, next week for episode 10. I'm ready for it, and then we're gonna see what's going on with the other way tomorrow, and then in 2 weeks we're gonna catch up with Angela and Michael, Kalani and Asuelo, Jovi and Yara, Ed and Liz, and who am I forgetting on the last?
Molly and Kelly.
Yeah.
Molly and Kelly, yes. And I heard that they're gonna discuss a little bit of the fallout between her and Cynthia on the show, and they're also going to cover a little bit of the Kelly and Olivia situation. So they're going to we'll get a little more insight on that, because I know we've seen like police reports and stuff, but we never got an explanation from anyone. No one will tell us what actually happened. So we're going to get a little bit of information on that, and why Cynthia and Molly have cut ties after over 20 years of friendship. So I'm kind of interested in knowing what tore that friendship apart too.
Yeah, for sure.
Got a lot to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot. All right, guys. So we had some technical difficulties throughout the night. So thank you for sticking with us. Right? We had some issues, but I'm glad that we got through it. Thank you so much to my co-hosts Kara and DeeDee. Make sure you're following them. They're tagged in this video. You have to follow me too, because that's where we post everything. It's at George Mossey on all social media platforms, on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music. Type in the George Mossey Show, and georgemossey.com as well. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow night to cover more 90 Day Fiancé talk, and we'll talk to all of you guys really, really soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.